You're on the ultra. What is it? Ultra caffeine?
That's how we're gonna start. This is just white.
Okay.
I don't know what flavor. Like, they have flavors like ultra red. This one is white, or everyone says white. I don't actually. Oh, it's called ultra. Okay. So it says high caffeine content, but I looked it up. It's actually the lowest of the energy drinks they have. So there's Monster, there's C4, there's Ghost. So this one does about, I think it's 150 milligrams of caffeine.
Okay.
Which is
that's all right.
a cup and a half of drip coffee or something. C4 is 180 to 200. So now you're getting 2 cups of coffee. And Ghost will go up to 300, I think, which is what your pre-workout was.
I was trying to remember how much I put in that. But yeah.
And you think they're a lot, and they're not actually that bad, but you don't want to have 3 of them in a day.
No, sure. What does it taste of? Just evil?
I can't describe it. It's like Red Bull.
Yeah, okay.
Right? You're like, I don't understand what the flavor is, but it's beautiful.
No, it's not. It tastes of chemicals and death.
It does taste of chemicals. It is it's
like Mountain Dew. There's nothing good in that.
It's like it's like if cotton candy was a robot. How's that?
All right, yeah.
How's that?
Okay. So I just come back from holiday and I've discovered a new coffee variant, which I'm really, really excited about, which is, it's got no caffeine in it, which is interesting.
Is it good?
It's really good. It's pistachio coffee, which is ground up pistachios with milk powder. And I don't think it's got any sugar in it. And it tastes like really sort of creamy, a bit like a latte, but
okay. Send it. Are you getting it at Amazon or where?
No, I don't know if you can get it here. We bought some in Turkey, so I will try and steal some off Janitor and package it up.
You got to be able to get it here.
Yeah,
I mean, I figure. So, take a picture, send it to me.
Yeah, but it's really good, really good.
I'm always looking for things because obviously I don't want to drink 3 of the Monsters a day. I do want something without caffeine in it.
Yeah.
And water's great, but sometimes I'll switch it up and like.
It's got a lot of fat in it. Is there anything?
Oh no!
So you won't be drinking a lot of it. But it's not very big. It's not very big though. So it's like one's okay.
Well, yeah, I always go for the quantity. Like every morning, I'll get a 1.5 liter bottle of water and just sort of drink that, from morning till noon or so. Huh?
You wouldn't want to drink a liter of it, like a liter of olive oil or something.
So you've just come back from vacation. Yeah, you're fresh. You're rested. I got a way we're going to start this one.
Go on then.
And this was the combination of a few conversations at work, but I think you'll appreciate this because of all your work with AI tools and Cursor. And it keeps our theme of AI, so it keeps that alive. There was a discussion at work where one of the designers was somewhat against using AI tools. And his rationale or reasoning was because, I don't want to lose the skills that I have. And he was like, look, people used to use maps all the time and now nobody knows where to go. You get in a taxi, they can't do anything. It's like,
I hear that.
Yeah. So it's, I don't want to get this learned helplessness. And I was sort of like, I get it, but like, tell me more. Right. And so the person started talking about, it does this layout for you, and it sort of auto generates these screens in Figma. And this is when it hit me. I was ready to throw chairs and tables out windows. I was like, that's what you think we do? Yeah. That like, you're in an organization that is supposed to be a quality design organization, and I don't mean to pick on this person,
but you're gonna.
But I was like, what in the F are you like? That's when a client comes to us. That's what you think our job is to figure out the best layout. And I was just sort of dumbfounded by this. And the next day, somebody asked me a question, and it was this sort of antithesis of that. And I thought those 2 questions represented such a beautiful idea of what AI tools do, why, like the lower end of design, what I've called the Squarespace designer side, and what we actually do in user experience, and why I'm personally not worried, which has been a theme through this on how we're going to get replaced. So that first question, right? I don't want to have this learned helplessness. So I think Figma Make and these types of things, they're going to make the screen. The question that I got the next day was, design, you're making WhatsApp, you're copying WhatsApp. design the simple interface for sending a message. Right?
Yeah, okay.
And I've been asking this now to almost every designer in the organization. And some people take it on better than others. But most people will say you need the input box, you know, where you type the message. You need the send icon. You need the conversation history where, you know, once you've sent it, it goes into the conversation history of you and the other person. Now, some people will start to get into, oh, now what if I send audio or video messages, right? So how is that rendered? The person who asked me this question, Pratish, has a background in computer science. He's like another one of the awesome designers we have in the organization. And his whole point on this and what we dug into was that you think it's a simple question. I'm gonna design this, right? But this to me tells the difference between a designer that doesn't really understand user experience and a designer that does. And we had this.
I will say it's how you ask that question though, because you phrase that question in it's a pit trap of
it is a bit. It is a bit, and I want to use this as sort of an interview question, because most people do give the graphical user elements of that.
Yeah.
But the whole point, if you are a serious user experience designer that thinks about the totality of the experience, you are going to look at things like, okay, what's the other person's experience when I am typing, right? Okay, so now that person is going to see whether I'm typing or not. How does that work? Am I sending that message to the server and the server sending that to them? Is the server querying me, right? And then, well, give me a minute to go finish the rant.
Okay.
And then people are going to say, well, how is that the experience? That's the technology. No, when somebody uses it, that like load, right? That performance is going to be impacted depending on what solution you have.
Yeah.
Are you encrypting the message on the device or are you encrypting it on the server? Well, that matters because if someone scoops the message in transit to the server and it's not encrypted, then they're going to be able to read it. Oh, that's technology. No, it's not. That is the experience. And Pratisha's point, which I thought was beautiful, is he's like, that's the system. We need to be thinking in systems, like the interface itself, and that's nothing. Let AI have it. Yeah. And that was like, that to me spoke so much of the conversations we have been having over the last 6 months in such a simple package. Go for it.
Do you know, I was going to say one thing, and just that last bit, you've made me change it slightly. I think one of the things that we've moved away from is if you go back 20, 30 years when we used to do software design then, we used to do fully blown out use cases and use case scenarios, and we've dumbed that right down now to we just think of in terms of like page designs and wireframes, and we don't look at the system, or we don't look at the outcome and the user needs and how it all fits together in the way that we might have done in a more exhaustive design process 30 years ago. And I think that's down to us. We just want everything faster now. We just give me good enough. Just give me something that ticks the box.
I don't think it's faster. I don't think it's good enough. We work right now, one of my main clients is ADCB, Abu Dhabi Commercial Bank. Within that, one of the people there, this guy Waleed, who runs a lot of the design team, Waleed, we need to get you on this. We've talked about this for months. We need to bring you on here. He asks us to put together blueprints.
Yeah.
And the point of this is that you see the screens across the top, and the middle layer is the business process flow. Yeah. And then the bottom layer is the technology. And the whole point is that you are seeing failure cases. You are seeing corner cases. You are seeing where things break. So I don't think it's about being good enough. I think it's all this crap of this, get your user experience certificate in 10 weeks from Google. That just teaches you the interface. That teaches you the screen design. It doesn't teach you the discipline of user experience. And that's what pisses me off so much about all the people that I see in user experience. Not all of them, but 95% think that user experience is the screen, and it's not. It is the totality of that system, of that blueprint, so that you understand what is happening in the technology, and you are building an experience that, builds on top of that, is performant for that, takes that into account, but you are not divorcing the two.
Yeah, and I'll come down on the. Am I really going to do this? I'm going to come down on the defensive side of those user experience designers now, because I see a lot of clients coming to us, particularly banks at the moment. I've got 3 or 4 banks I'm talking to right now, and some of them get it and some of them don't. Some of them are just looking for, or they'll say that they want to change the world. They want to lead the industry. They want to put something out there that revolutionizes how people are working. And then they'll say, but we just want an out-of-box solution. We want this, but can you just deliver it without a box? Can you just skin it? Or just do it with a price that only allows you to skin it? And you can't have both. It's like, if you want to change things, changing things needs thought. Changing things needs to understand your users. It needs people who are expert in this industry, not the cheapest designers you can get out there to just tick a box and do basic layouts. Changing the world, changing industry needs some expertise and needs some time.
I'll give you a split on that. Yeah. I think there's 3 ways that you can go about handling that. All of them are acceptable to me if you know what you are doing, if you walk into that with eyes open. The first one is what you said, right? Just copy what exists. Yeah. Right now we are doing, for a client, we are doing like stock trading type of stuff. You don't really need to reinvent the industry. You sort of need to take what's best out there and copy it, right? Like if somebody's coming into a website to do stock trading, for the most part, it's a task that they need to accomplish. Now, if you're doing portfolio management, if you're doing other things, that's a different situation.
Do you know, I built the first broker-to-broker stock trading system that was ever online.
What year was that?
That would have been
97?
About that, yeah.
I was going to say there's like Morningstar, I remember back then. Yeah. So that's the first one. Is, just copy what exists. The second one is so that's an out-of-box solution. Take an out-of-box solution and then figure out the 2, 3, 4, 5 moments that are signature experiences that can make a difference, that can do something unique. That's where I usually would try to work with most clients. Most people, whether they're in banking or energy or whatever it's going to be, travel and hospitality, booking, hotels, they don't need something revolutionary. They need something that works really well, and then build a few moments on top of that just help them shine.
I agree.
The third one is then you just look to completely transform something. This to me is the Revolut, is the Lemonade, Revolut for banking, Lemonade for insurance, Octopus for energy, right? Where you are really invested in saying, let's create something different, but you make that investment.
But let's unpick that a bit, because I think if you take a brand like Lemonade or Revolut, what they didn't do was transform the entirety of it. What they did was actually what you said before, was they picked a few moments. Some of them are quite in-your-face moments, but they picked a few moments and they transformed those. If you try and do everything at once, it goes wrong, or there's so much risk that it's not worth undertaking, I think. But when you pick your moments, when you pick your key areas of maximum return, so for Lemonade, it was about processing claims quickly. For Revolut, it was about easy onboarding. Same for things like WEO, but if you unpick their compliance issues behind it, there is some challenges there.
Okay, so good point. Let's divorce the rails that like banks run on. Yep. You're not going to change that.
Although that's exactly what Revolut and WEO have done, and they've got some issues as a result. So
yes. Okay. So yeah.
WEO more than Revolut, I think.
With something like Revolut, where I was going with this, or Lemonade, like you said, with whether that's onboarding, whether that's claims filing, they fundamentally, at least from what I remember, changed the interface and changed the experience of that. And those are two different things, but interlinked. Right, so Lemonade changed the interface, more conversational, but also they changed the experience by making claims much easier to file, and you got your money immediately.
That was the whole premise.
So two things. Revolut, to me, changed the interface of banking, and then they changed the experience by, like, they were one of the first ones that I remember personally adding things like crypto on and a couple other things like that.
Cross-border transactions was everything.
Yeah, I was going to say remittance, getting a card really easily.
Yes, so they're the first people who did.
Digital cards as well, so like virtual accounts and things. I just think there's a variety of ways that you can go. It's just picking the one that's right for the brand, knowing what the brand needs, and walk into that with eyes open.
Let's put it back to your message content, because I like that, and it's got a few different things, a few different threads you can pull on. The reason why I called it a pit trap, because what you framed it as was that how design something to send a message. And actually sending a message is probably the most trivial aspect of it. I think one of the challenges we have in communication in 2025 is that we've got a myriad of different forms of communication that we all try and smash together to do the same thing. So my WhatsApp, for example, I use it typically for throwaway messages where I want to get hold of somebody instantly and I need an instant reply. I probably don't need to refer to that the next week or the next year.
All of your messages to me are throwaway?
Appreciate that.
Wonderful.
No, but it's true. They're like conversations. Like, I don't bank my conversations in a data store to then refer to them later. I might remember some of them, but if I need to remember something, I choose different forms of storage. Like I write things down, or I'll stick it in a spreadsheet, or I'll save it somewhere. I don't rely on my memory as much these days to recall things, maybe as people might have done 50 years ago. Email is a bit more of a permanent record. So if I need a document from somebody, I'll say email it to me, because then I've got it somewhere sensible. Send me a link to a file store. And then you've got things like Slack and Teams, which is somewhere in between a WhatsApp message and an email. But we use them quite interchangeably, and I think that's where we get some big problems.
So you bring up an interesting point. With email, it does feel like there is some level of, what do I want to say? Like there's an inbox and it's mine.
Yeah.
And it's portable. That's what I want to say. It's portable.
Although it's not.
True, but like I can log in to email from any device. I guess that's the key.
Yes.
Is that it sits somewhere central, quote unquote central, and I can log in from any device. With WhatsApp, if I lose my phone, I feel like shit's off the rails.
But do you not use, so another tangent, do you not use it on your browser? Because I interchange the two and I love that.
I use the app on my desktop.
Yeah.
But I feel like if I lose my phone, because my phone has a physical SIM card in it, which is the number that my WhatsApp is attached to.
I don't think that's where they're stored. I'm not sure though.
But see again, but that's the thing. It's like we don't know.
I need to find this out. No.
Right? And I feel like if I could log into any device, when I log into my desktop on WhatsApp, I have to do the QR code linking thing.
See, I don't anymore. You can set it so you don't need to do that.
Oh, okay.
But now you're making me think. I'm not going to go out on a limb on this one. I'll check it for next time. Yeah.
So I mean, to me, that's a difference, and that feels the same with Slack.
Yeah.
Right. So Slack, I can log in from any point, but I'm like, how do I make all my messages portable? Because I can't really extract all those conversations. Those conversations are owned by a company, let's say.
Yeah.
And when I go like with Sapient, if I get fired from Sapient, I'm going to lose all my emails there, right? And
I've literally just gone through this with Emphasis, where I transitioned my status, and I've had one ID turned off and another one turned on, and I've lost all the emails on the old one, which is irritating.
Yeah, so there is still a level of permanence. I guess I still like Google Drive. I put things there. I feel like it's permanent. Good job. I use that for my. Yeah.
So what made me think of that was when you mentioned, well, actually sending a message. You didn't say typing a message, and voice is the obvious thing. Well, do I need to send a message by text? Could it be a voice message? But
that's the thing. Start asking questions.
But and that's what led me down this journey, was thinking, actually, when I send a voice message, it's actually, I've come round to it. I'm old and I don't like voice messages, but I'm coming round to it in certain use cases. The problem I found with it is when I talk to people via voice, and it's quite easy when you're driving to send a voice message back and forwards, and it's convenient and it works, is then when I get home, I went, oh, he mentioned something. I want to go and check what it was. It's a pain in the ass to do that, because you've then got to go and start to find which message was it. I've got to listen to all of them all the way through. So I think there is going to be an epiphany, an evolutionary moment coming soon, where we start to think about the medium of the message being less important. We're already seeing the medium of the transmission, the device, the browser, where it sits. It's all effectively cloud-based now. So the access points are becoming interchangeable. But I think we'll see the medium becoming interchangeable as well. And the data that's in it, we'll look to ways through text-to-speech, through speech-to-text, to extract it and then store it in a common interchangeable way.
Well, it's not that we're going away from the medium as the message. It's that the way that a message is sent does not need to be the way that it is delivered.
No,
How
absolutely,
is that?
Absolutely. And I like that. And now I want to go and play with things like vector-based databases to say, well, actually, if I start taking my messages and transform them all into not even just text, but I'm trying to think what the name is, the codified English language, which is much shorter, a way of training LLMs, if you could do that and store everything in a database. So all of my messages, emails, Slacks, Teams, WhatsApps get stored in one master database that can be accessed through semantic search and through an LLM that's trained on that. Then you start seeing the next generation cyborg memory, I think.
Well, that's the whole point, or that's the whole sort of, I don't know, utopia of CIOs, that I can go in and I can use a search box to query, what was that presentation I gave 2 weeks ago where the cover slide had a purple, was mostly purple, and it had a man and woman talking. And I saw that presentation. And from that, it is pulling a few things, right? Time. It is doing image to sort of text, or image to some way of understanding that. And then you're also doing text, right? You might say, oh, within that, I remember I had these design principles I wanted to find. So it's the ability to distill a variety of inputs into a single output, or a single method of searching. Let's say it that way.
Yeah, for me, it's data storage. It's like the expression of that data, whether it's in a voice message, or whether it's in text, or whether it's in a presentation, or whether it's in a Word document, or a natural language conversation. That itself, we're getting closer and closer to it becoming completely fluid.
Well, in email, and like in Outlook, right? Is it Outlook? No, in Google. In Google Mail, I'm sure Outlook probably does this as well. In Google Mail, if I have my Google phone number, right, hooked up to that, which I do in the US, I get voicemails and I get them transcribed. So in theory, I can't search from. Transcription isn't great right now. Like, leaves something to be desired. But yeah, I think that's something interesting, that you take such a, and I'm going to tie this back because we're going to wrap up this episode. I'm going to tie this back to that opening question, and where I think user experience has gone off the rails, why I think it's important, especially in the age of AI, to bring it back on the rails, because you come down to such a simple question. Tell me how you're gonna remake WhatsApp, or you're gonna remake Telegram. Tell me how you design sending a message. And we started out with some of those moments of, encryption, of, seeing that the other person is typing. But just what you said, right? This is what good user experience should look like. The fact that I send a message in one way, you want to receive it in another way, that we are having a conversation about that, having a conversation about usage, about understanding, about needs, about context. None of those, not one of those, is about layout and boxes and components and all of that. Let the systems have it. The conversation that we just had, to me, represents what user experience should be.
Yeah, I agree. It's easy to get lost in it as well. I think it's easy to forget we've just got to do page designs, we've just got to put a brand expression on a wireframe, and job is done, that we forget all the 10 steps that come before that to get to that point.
Well, and your point about, we work with clients who just want an out-of-the-box solution. It is easy to fall back into that trap. It is easy to say,
it works, so why not?
Yeah. But I think that is what, if I don't want to take back my earlier statement that you have these 3 different routes, right? Out of the box with sort of signature experiences, and then full-blown redesign. But I think within that, again, understanding that user experience is a spectrum of approaches. And if you go all the way off to that one side where you're fundamentally redesigning something, that at least when you are having these conversations about out of the box or out of the box with signature experiences, you are still having that conversation of, are we fulfilling the right need? Are there latent needs we can tackle? Are there contexts? Especially now, are there new devices, new forms of input, output, new data storage, whatever this is going to be, that would impact the experience, that even if you take it out of the box, even if it is that simple, that you say, what's happened? What are the shifts in the last few years? And do we need to make any changes? I mean, that's where I would take all of this. I think that's where we can wrap up for the moment. And it's good to have you back.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
And I'm sad you don't have coffee, but there is a coffee place downstairs, so we can go get coffee. Dunbar, I'll see you later.